Hey, I'm Alexia, trainer and integrative health coach here at Pvolve. I'm joined by Antonietta and Maeve, and over the next few weeks, we're gonna be taking you through a series that works with your menstrual cycle. So, we're gonna be leading you through functional movement that works with your body and with the fluctuations of hormones that you're experiencing rather than against them. I think we can all agree that we've been suffering for far too long, and it's time for a change, so we're here to give it to you. At the start of each phase, all three of us will be leading you through an intro and a workout to set you up for success throughout that period. There's 4 phases, 4 intros, and we're gonna be together partying, having a little girl talk, and hanging out with you all. Our hope with this program is to arm you with not only the strength and mobility that you need to set your body up for success throughout the phases, but also make you feel empowered to fully embrace and take advantage of your perfectly designed female physiology. So let's get started. It's day 1 of your bleed, and it's time to flip the script on everything that you've thought about this week and some of the things that you've dreaded. Your hormone levels are at their lowest, and so your energy might feel like it's at its lowest as well. Throughout this week, feel free to take your time, take rest when you need it, take days off, and then come back. The most important thing is that you move, and move with us, because we're so excited to move with you. Feel free to adjust the timing of your workouts this week so that maybe they're later in the day. As your cortisol levels naturally fall and you're feeling more relaxed, just tap into that relaxation response as much as you possibly can. Throughout this phase, we're gonna ramp up the workouts towards the end. You're gonna move into more strength and sculpt, more resistance. Your body is primed for muscle building, and you might feel that strength and that energy rising as the days pass. So take advantage of it. Your body is releasing during the menstrual phase, so everything you've built up over the last few weeks, mimicking that buildup that's happening inside of your body, we're gonna let it go, we're gonna surrender. All of the things that don't serve us anymore, we're releasing. So, let's grab your mats. You don't need any equipment, and we're just gonna open up the abdominals, open up the hips, find length, and find a little rotation and movement in the body to help relieve those PMS symptoms that might still be lingering. So let's get started. All right, grab your mats. We're gonna come into seated. I want you to cross your ankles so that you're not gripping in the hip flexors. We're gonna take the hands onto the shins, lifting the knees a little bit higher towards your shoulders. I want you to curve the spine and round back as you release the low back, take the chin to the chest, and then roll forward. Let the pelvic bowl roll towards me. Lift the chin, open the chest, stretch, and let the sternum open and release. Sit back and curve the spine. Now, through this, you can take your time. Take as many undulations here through the spine as you need, whatever your body is asking for. You're gonna see that as a theme throughout these workouts, throughout this series. It's all about you and your individuality, your individual experience. Every single one of us is completely different, and that is reflected in our cycles, and we want that to be reflected in the way we move. Last one here, sit back deeply, and come up through center. You're gonna release the knees here. Take your left foot on top of your right knee as you let the hips gently open. If that's not available to you, stay in a regular cross-legged position with your favorite foot on top or bottom. Take the hands to the knees and curve the spine back. I'm pulling against my knees, finding opening in the backs of the shoulders. Woo, as I breathe up, that feels good, y'all. Roll through, open the chest. Same thing here, we're just gonna take 6 of these undulations all the way through, opening up that top hip. As I pull through and as we progress through these reps, I'm pulling more and more against my knees, finding that opposition, finding a little bit of engagement, opening the chest, opening the rib cage as you send the belly button forward. Last 3, just like this. Pull. Now find the breath. Take the inhale deep into the belly, exhale, release and surrender. Last one, all the way through. And come up to center. Now staying in this cross-legged position, I want you to walk your hands forward, stretching through the spine, fingertips reach towards me. I'm really thinking about pulling my sits bones down to the earth as I send my fingertips forward, finding as much length as possible through the back body and through the front body. So keep breathing here. We want to stimulate that relaxation response. If you're feeling a little agitated, a little bit leftover moodiness, for lack of a better word, from the last week or so, I want you to really focus on that deep belly breath. Take the hands over to the diagonal, framing your left knee, getting deeper into that right hip as you open up the low back. Know that stress and relaxation cannot exist in the same space. So as you take these deep belly breaths, you're massaging the phrenic nerve and you're stimulating that parasympathetic nervous system to turn everything off, turn it down. Take one more deep breath here, feeling your belly expand towards the legs. And release. Release the left elbow. I want you to sweep your right hand overhead as we take a side stretch, getting deeper into that outside hip. So as I reach with my top arm, I'm using my front foot to press against my front knee and open up the outside of that right hip. You can take the focus up, find length, feel like someone is pulling your hand overhead and away. And slowly return center. We're gonna come back to the beginning. So crossing the opposite side ankle over, right over left, grabbing the knees. We're gonna take just 3 undulations through and all the way up, opening the chest. So you can feel the low back release. You can feel a little spreading in the low back right there around the SI joint. So let everything get heavy. We're not strict moving through this movement. We're just taking these deep breaths. One more because it feels good. Sit back and reach. And open up. We're gonna take that front foot on top of our bottom leg, opening the hips right here, reaching down, grasping the knees, and open the chest, open the shoulders right away, getting into that perfect posture, and then release through. So we wanna feel that dichotomy between the curve and the expansion of the chest. Sit back and down, and up. So know that as you move, as you restrict and as you release, there's gonna be circulation happening in your body. You're inviting the movement of the fluid in your body, and that's gonna help to alleviate any PMS symptoms that are still kind of lingering from the luteal phase from your last week. Breathe up and out. Last one, sit back deeply, then we're gonna stretch it out. Good, walk the hands forward, releasing the chest over the thighs. Take as much as you need here. If you need to stay up taller today, you feel a little bit tight, a little bit restricted, stay there. But think about the length all the way out and through the top of your head, pressing the sits bones down into the floor. I can hear Maeve breathing beautifully, deeply into her belly. Let that release. Even if you have a little cramping, it's gonna open up. You want to get movement into the body. So more than circulation, now reach your hands over top of the right knee, but more than circulation, when we move in these parts of our phase that we feel a little bit more irritated, a little more agitated, you're also releasing dopamine, you're releasing serotonin, all of these things that are gonna make you feel good. So we want those movements to really stimulate not only our bodies, but our minds and our spirits throughout the cycle. Reach your right arm wide, drop the elbow overhead, stretching through. I'm taking energy through my fingertips. Same way we talk about tension and strength and sculpt, I'm putting a little bit of tension in that top arm so I can really feel the length through my side body, reaching the opposite side hip down towards the floor. Take one more breath here. And return up to center. Good. Roll the shoulders, shake it out for a second. Now release that top foot. I want you to take a big crossover with your left. You're gonna take your right hand across the knee, open up the opposite side arm, big reach. We're gonna alternate through, grabbing the knee again as you return to center, and open up your right hand wide. So every time you twist, I'm thinking about pressing down through my back and opening the chest, finding as much twist as I possibly can. Use the front knee for leverage here. So every time I twist towards my left, I'm pulling the knee out and away, opening up the glute. And then as I turn towards the right, I'm pulling that knee away from the midline, feeling the stretch on my right side hip and my right glute. Last one, reach it out long. Take your eyes with you. Breathe and release. Good, return to center. We're gonna take that top leg over top of our left, my left, your right. Reach the same side arm wide, palm towards the ceiling. I'm gonna press my hips up and out as I find that side stretch that we just did in our cross-legged position, and then I'm gonna return to center. So now we're getting a little bit of abdominal activation as we lift and return to center. You're gonna feel your bottom inner thigh squeeze and activate as you lift the hips towards the ceiling. Try to press your pelvis towards me as you lift and keep that alignment as you lower, letting the glutes engage, opening up the side body. You have 3 more here. Breathe it out. Reach long. Last 2. And we're gonna stay at the top on the last one. Stay long right here. Arm is gonna reach at shoulder height. We're gonna thread the needle. So reach through that little gap between your hips and your hand, and then open up the body. So as you can tell, and as I'm sure you can feel here, we're starting to get into the abdominals. So this is what I'm talking about. This is where that circulation, that movement, that activation is really gonna start to help alleviate anything that you have left over. Just so you know, when you're in the menstrual phase, it's an inflammatory response, right? Your body is becoming inflamed in that season of time, so you wanna boost circulation as much as possible to flush the body. Last two. And last one, release. Good, we're gonna come to all fours. So transfer your weight forward, find the knees right underneath the hips, and we're just gonna move through a little cat-cow. So I want you to pull the belly button to the spine as you press away from the mat. Drop your chin to your chest, and inhale as you drop the belly button, arching the spine, taking the eyes to the ceiling. Exhale, let everything release. Good, so we keep talking about this release. I keep talking about this release. So I want you to find that with the breath. Every time you exhale, put your mind there. What makes Pvolve unique always is the fact that we have this insane mind-body connection that we talk about. And this is the pinnacle of it. So I want you to connect the mind and body throughout every single one of these workouts. We're gonna be giving you cues to do so, and giving you cues that are gonna allow you to get into your body more than you ever have before. So use the breath, it's your tool. One more time, exhale as you reach that belly button up into the spine, pull the chin to the chest, and release. Good, come to a neutral spine right here. We're gonna take some big hip circles down and out to the right, and return to center. So I'm still pressing into my hands, feeling the stretch underneath my shoulders and up. If you watch Antonietta, she's so good at undulating that spine all the way through, top of her head to her tailbone. Yes, girl, all the way through. And you can take what you want, let it feel good. Last two, and we're gonna go to the other side. Last one, good. Opposite side, so reach that right hip down and back. Find that little undulation. You can think about several joint movements in this articulation. So think about the shoulders, think about the wrists, think about the neck, the lower back, the hips, all of it, the knees even, and get as much space in the body as you possibly can. Give me two more, just like that. I'm gonna join you for the last two because this feels good, girl. Last two. Last one. And we're gonna make our way to seated once again and take all of those little rotations. So right foot over left, keeping the feet close to the body. Take the left hand over the knee, reach long, opening the chest, using that knee for leverage, and switch. So here, it can be easy to let your shoulders creep up. They're not earrings. We've said that before and we'll say it 100 times again. Roll those shoulders down and back every time you open, establishing that posture, even though this is rest and recovery, with a little bit of activity. Reach long. Good, using that knee, open, take your gaze with you. Use the breath. As you exhale, you might find more space to twist through the thoracic spine here. Good, two more each side, reach it long. Open up that wingspan. Good, breathe, breathe, breathe. Last one, breathe it out. Then we're gonna go into that little mermaid reach, opening the left arm wide. Good, and come center, release the top knee. Left hand is wide, reaching the palm towards the ceiling, up and out as you initiate with that standing side oblique. So it's pushing me up towards the ceiling, keeping the pelvis square, feeling the activation in the inner thighs. Watch your standing elbow. Make sure you're not hyperextending through that arm, but you're active. So if you need to take a slight bend and activate through the bicep, lifting up and out of the wrist, breathe it out. Last three. And in. I like to exhale as I lift. Two. Yes, I heard that, Maeve. Good. Last one. Breathe it out. Take the hand up at shoulder height. We're gonna thread that needle, get deeper into the abdominals, find the twist, using the obliques the way they were designed to move on that diagonal twist and up. Can you reach a little further? I know I'm heating up a little bit. I don't know about y'all. Breathe it out. Good. Keep the hips lifted, keep the inner thighs engaged. Last three. And in, two more. Last two. And up. Last one. Good, release, come center. Make your way onto all fours one more time. We're gonna take a few more cat-cows, some quick hip circles before we transition. So breathing out as you exhale, pull the belly button to the spine, and inhale, send the belly button down. We can move a little quicker through these. So I want you to flow through at your own pace in the way that feels good. Try to get deeper into the upper back here, opening up, pressing, really thinking about that cat and that cow. It's called a cat-cow for a reason. So channel that same energy, that same shape. Breathe it out, good. Last one, and release. We're gonna turn to that neutral spine. Take the hips down and around, a little quicker here. Moving through before we come up onto the knees, get a little bit active towards the end of this rest and recovery. Last one, reverse it out, right side reaches back and up. Take what your body needs. Be gentle or get moving. It's up to you. You have that freedom in all of these workouts to take exactly what you need. Last one here, we're gonna come up to the knees and release. So if you have any sensitivities or any knee issues here, feel free to double up your mat while we're moving through this series so you don't tweak anything. So I want you to step up with the left foot straight forward at 12 o'clock. Antonietta is gonna show what we mean by doubling up that mat. Take the elbows up, interlace the fingers and pull apart, activating through the back. We're gonna press into that front foot as you twist towards the working side leg, return to center and twist in the opposite direction. So we're taking a full rotation here. And I'm really thinking about my alignment in this standing leg. So as I rotate towards the back leg, I'm maintaining that hip placement. I'm keeping my back hip facing towards you this whole time. So I'm getting deep into the psoas, stretching deep into those hip flexors, and we're gonna let it release for the last 3. So now let that hip go a little bit more and take it back, not focusing on that strict alignment. Last 2. And back. We're gonna step to 1 o'clock after this last one and return to center. So take that front foot out. My 1 o'clock, you're 11, externally rotated. I'm gonna reach the hands towards that foot, opening up the hamstring and the hip, and then I'm gonna twist and reach away, keeping my foot planted, drive down and out, up and away. So same thing here that we talked about during that side stretch at the top of the workout. I'm really thinking about tension in my fingers as I reach away and activating through the entirety of the upper body to find that stretch in the abdominals and in the hip. Last 4, breathe it out. Get deeper into that front leg. If you want, if you have more range, you can step the front foot out 1 inch further and get deeper into the hamstring, opening the hip. Good, last 2. And we're gonna move to 3 o'clock. In 1, and up. Good, return center, take that foot, maintaining external rotation to 3 o'clock. Same thing, reaching towards the leg, finding the twist in the upper body. Now we're gonna flex the foot and reach the heel away, drive it back and in. Reach it out, flex the foot, drive it away. So I'm activating through my quad as I extend that foot, opening the front of the hip as much as I possibly can. Good, breathe it out. Yes. Last 3, breathing it out. Take the eyes with you. 2, and up. Last 1. Now we're gonna stay in the extension right where you are. I want you to drop the hands and take them forward. You're gonna tap the toes outside of your mat at about 9 o'clock. I'm gonna reach up and take a little rainbow tap as I turn my shoelaces towards the floor, rotate in the hip, return to center, and tap. So I'm going straight side and then back to about 7 o'clock. So we're finding a gentle activation here, opening up the hip, engaging the glutes, protecting the spine, and really activating through that entire pelvic girdle. If pelvic floor activation is available to you, that's another opportunity to contract and release a muscle that's gonna aid in circulation if you have any lingering cramps or any pelvic pain. Breathe. You have 2 more here. Last 2. And up. On the last one, we're gonna stay at 7 o'clock. Last 1. Take that foot to 7 o'clock. Lift it slightly up into a hover. Externally rotate the toes so shoelaces are facing the diagonal. We're gonna shift back, pull the knee towards the shoulder, and drive everything up and out. So here, like I said, if pelvic floor activation is available to you, inhale as you sit back, exhale as you reach, zip up that zipper, find that sensation. And that's gonna add a little bit more circulation in your pelvis. Breathe it out. Good, find the breath. Use it as you will. Last 4, press away from the floor, lift the knee. Last 2, and up. We're gonna stay in this shift. Last one right here. I want you to drop your knee like you're taking a fire hydrant and circle all the way up and around. So just finding that circular movement, that mobility in the hip. I'm trying to paint the biggest circle I possibly can with my kneecap. If you're doing this correctly, you're gonna start to feel the glutes light up, right? Now, when you feel like you wanna sink into that low back, lengthen the spine, find neutral. Last 2, woo, yeah. Last one, good, release. Come to center, take the knees wide, find child's pose, give the body a break. Sit back. So like I said, if this is too much today, pause after the stretching, get back to it tomorrow, get into it the way you want to. Throughout this phase, we have some really yummy, amazing stretches. I know Maeve has a beautiful abdominal release. We have some gentle strength and sculpts. All these things are working with your body. Come up to center when you're ready. Step forward with the right foot. Interlace the fingers, engage the back, press through. The first half here, we're keeping the hips square. So I'm really focusing on activating through the standing side abs as I twist. Woo, yeah, check in. Just like Maeve is doing, you can always feel the body part that we're cueing, and just make sure being really tactile with your body is effective in finding alignment. Now open the hip. Last 2, using the front leg to open and press with the outer thigh, outer glute. Last 1, and in, good. Come center, step that foot to 1 o'clock, externally rotated, reach the fingertips towards that leg, up and away, keep the foot planted. So through keeping that foot planted, you're gonna feel a lot of engagement in the inner thigh on that front leg, top of thigh. I'm also using my outer glute to open up and keep the knee in perfect alignment with my hip, with my ankle, with my toes. Good. So even though we're resting and we're recovering, we're still thinking about the function within these movements, the alignment. Perfect form. Last 3, and up. Last 2. Breathe it out, find that stretch, find the tension. Good, last 1. Breathe it out, 1 more reach. Good, return center. We're gonna take that foot to 3 o'clock, externally rotated. Final stretch here. Pull away from the body, reach up, flex that foot, engage all the way through the quadriceps, finding knee alignment here. Breathing it out. So when we talk about perfect form, sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up in the stress of it. I want you to use this entire series to find the way that your body moves and perfect form for you. And that's everything from the way you move, the way you set your mind, the way you fuel your body. Last 2, and up, breathe. Last 1, breathe it out. And release, good. Take the hands forward on the diagonal at about 11 o'clock. Tap your right toes at 3. You're gonna lift and rotate shoelaces to the floor, reach it up and out. So every time I take this rainbow tap, I'm thinking about getting my toes as far away from my hip as I possibly can. So really activating through the glute, finding the length in the front of the hip. Good, and as you lower the toes, that's when your abdominals are gonna fire up. So right here, I resist as I take those toes down to the floor, like I'm pressing the top of my foot on a big pillow. Reach it out. Last 4. And up, a big old pillow, a big old pillow. You probably wanna lay on a pillow right now. Do that after this workout. Reach it out. Last 2. Press away from the floor, shoulders away from the ears. Last 1, yep, always checking in. And stay at 5 o'clock right here. Find that little lift, hover, externally rotate the toes, sit back, drive the knee towards your shoulder, and return to center. So, building mobility in the hips. I'm thinking about opening and spreading my sits bones every time I sit back, feeling that active engagement in the glutes. Pressing away from the floor with the hands, opening up the chest. Long spine, last 4. And up, breathe. Last 3. And in, whoo, last 2, belly button to spine. Find the pelvic floor activation if you can. Last 1, come back to that shift. We're gonna finish off with this knee circle. So close off the knee and lift, drawing a big circle. Nothing else in my body is moving except for that right leg. I'm trying to take up as much space as I can, leading with the knee. Breathe it out for 4. Y'all, this is no joke. Last 3. Good, breathe, 2 more. Finding the space. And last one, good. Woo, come center. We're gonna flip our mats sideways just so we have a little bit more space. And we're gonna take this final little abdominal engagement, opening up the front body, and then a little relaxation. So coming onto your back, I want you to pull the knees all the way into the chest, tightly, curve the spine, bring your forehead to your knees. I'm really just consolidating my entire body here, and I'm squeezing tight, I'm active, pressing the knees towards the chest, and then I'm gonna let everything release out long, lay flat on my mat. So this is about constricting, bring everything in, constrict and squeeze as tight as you possibly can, tension in the entire body, and then let everything release, let the circulation flow. You might feel a little rush in your legs and in your arms. Good, bring everything in. We're gonna do this 4 times. Squeeze, contract, constrict, and let it go. Oh, that feels good. Last one, tightest one, pull it in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And now just let the upper body release. Take the hands to the shins. You're gonna circle the knees out and around. Opening up the hips, releasing the low back. Use the hands to really manipulate the body here. Don't muscle it. Don't move from the glutes or the thighs. And you can take whatever you need here. So if you wanna keep the knees together, do that, rock back and forth. If you wanna rock up and down. Now I'm gonna reverse my knees, moving in internal circles here, up and around towards my chest and towards the midline. Good, release. You have 2 more just like this. Keep that deep breathing going. And last one, drop the feet to the floor. I want you to release the palms so they're facing the ceiling, and just windshield wiper the knees right and left. Releasing the glutes, releasing the low back. Here we're not thinking about any kind of form perfection. We're just letting everything go. We want it to feel good. If you're inclined to move more during your menstrual phase, do it. You can take these rest and recovery workouts and repeat them, maybe morning and evening. You can take a walk if that feels good to you. You can use another rest and recovery video in the library. Whatever your body is craving, that's how you should be moving. Don't overdo it, but if you want more, move more. Release the hands, release the feet. Take the feet out long. I'm gonna try not to kick my friend Antonietta. Take the feet out long, and you can let everything release. We're just gonna take a little surrender here. So open up the palms, let the body hang heavy, and I want you to just breathe. Find that deep belly breathing while you're in this space. And I wanna reiterate one more time that during the menstrual phase, physically, you've built up that uterine lining. We're here to educate, ladies, but we've built up that uterine lining, and this time is so precious for you to let go of the things that are no longer serving you, and that's mimicked in your body. So throughout the next few weeks, I want you to just tune in. I want you to listen to what your body has been telling you for so long, and you're finally gonna give it the chance to speak a little louder and spend time with us and find the rhythm that works for you. So take one more deep breath, letting the belly expand, and let it release. And that's it for our intro to the menstrual phase. We can't wait to spend the rest of this time with you and the next few weeks. I think it's gonna be a really good time, and we're so excited. So we'll see you during the next workout.